Well, the main stumbling block for now remains the fact that the Iranians want the U.S. to return to the nuclear deal because it was the Americans who left the nuclear deal, President Trump, in May 2018. And the Americans are saying we're willing to do that only if Iran is also willing to take a number of steps. It's going to be a step-by-step approach, synchronized, if you'd like, by both sides. So the Iranians will take a step to go back, to reduce their nuclear activity. Americans will remove sanctions, or Americans remove sanctions, or vice versa. But the problem is that for now, the Iranians are saying no. First, America has to remove the sanctions, and then we have to see if they've really removed the sanctions, because the Americans have to prove themselves, because they are the ones who acted in an unreliable manner. They broke the deal. So it should be the Americans who have to prove first their sincerity and their credibility. And President Biden simply cannot just take unilateral steps, not just technically speaking, but also he's going to stand for re-election in 2024. There's midterm elections in America. They're going to, these adversaries, the Republicans, are going to tear him apart for that, so he's not going to do that.
Now, notably, the negotiations in the years leading up to the 2015 JCPOA deal here had direct talks all the time between Iran and the United States in particular here. After 7 rounds of what's reported to be really failure talks, this 8th round, again, the Americans not sitting face-to-face with Iran. Is that just a basis for policy? Does that seem like it's producing results or not, Mayor?
It's not America's fault. The Americans would love to sit with the Iranians at the table and negotiate with them directly. But this is something that Ayatollah Khamenei doesn't allow. He's basically punishing the Americans. This is another form of punishment of the Americans for having walked out of the nuclear deal in May 2018. He's telling the Americans that, well, you prove to be unreliable and untrustworthy, so we don't want to really negotiate with you directly. Is this working in Iran's favor? No, not really. But I think it's also for domestic purposes. The hardliners in Iran warned Khamenei before the 2015 deal that, look, if you reach a deal with the Americans, they're going to be untrustworthy. All these direct talks, eventually, they're not going to serve us. And they prove to be right. And this is one of the ways Khamenei is repaying them.
Well, along those lines, Mayor, with seeing the real potential for no deal emerging right now, we're hearing talks about deadlines. This is the 8th round of talks. The tone and on all sides, and even in Israel, centering more and more on the other options out there besides diplomacy now. Where on that side of the issue, how serious are those discussions right now, those threats?
To be honest with you, David, yes, don't hold up too much hope for now for the Vienna talks. I think really this could be the last, or maybe just one other round. And if there's no result, then no, they're not going to continue for now. They're going to be suspended. But option plan B, it really depends on actions Iran takes. If Iran races towards a bomb, then yes, I think we are looking at a possibility of war. But if Iran, the head of the Atomic Energy Organization of Iran, Mohammad Eslami, said recently that if the Vienna talks fail, Iran's not going to enrich uranium beyond 60%. That's kind of comforting, actually, in a way, because it means that, okay, the Iranians are playing hardball, but at the same time, if the talks fail, they're not going to race towards a bomb, because I think they know what would happen. I think the key to what to watch out for if the talks are suspended, David, is to see whether the Americans are going to try to convince the Chinese and the Russians to join them in imposing new sanctions. That's very likely, but let's see if Biden is going to be successful in doing that.